Imagine a world where a mysterious illness appears overnight, turning normal life into chaos. In the mid-14th century, the Black Death swept across Asia, Europe, and North Africa, becoming one of history's deadliest pandemics. It struck without mercy. Rich or poor, young or old, no one was safe. Entire families vanished, villages emptied, and the dead outnumbered the living. The loss was unimaginable, plunging the world into sorrow and confusion. Survivors, peasants and laborers, suddenly had power to demand better pay and freedom. The old order crumbled, and the plague shook the foundations of medieval life. The Black Death remains a haunting reminder of our vulnerability to disease. Today, scientists use cutting-edge technology to uncover the true story of the Black Death. This journey isn't just about the past, it's about learning how to protect ourselves in the future. During the Black Death, no one knew about germs or bacteria. Many believed the plague was God's punishment, filling churches with desperate prayers. Others blamed bad air, convinced foul smells spread the disease. People carried flowers or burned incense, hoping to protect themselves. Doctors wore beaked masks stuffed with herbs, trying to filter out poison. Fear led to scapegoating. Minorities were falsely accused of poisoning wells. Violence and panic tore communities apart. The scars of fear and blame would last for centuries. For centuries, all we had were stories and records of the Black Death's devastation, but these couldn't reveal the true killer or its origins. The breakthrough came with modern science and a new kind of detective work. Scientists turned to ancient graveyards, plague pits, where victims were buried en masse. Archaeologists carefully unearthed skeletons, searching for physical evidence. Bones told part of the story, but the real secret was microscopic. Inside ancient teeth, protected by hard enamel, scientists found preserved DNA, sometimes even from the germs that killed their hosts. This launched the field of paleogenetics, extracting ancient DNA to identify long-lost pathogens. In ultra-clean labs, researchers drilled into teeth, searching for genetic fingerprints of the Black Death. The work was painstaking. Ancient DNA is fragile and fragmented. But by piecing together these tiny clues, scientists could finally identify the true culprit. The answer was hidden in the teeth of those who died centuries ago. This new science allowed us to look the Black Death in the eye for the first time. The search for the killer was about to reach a breakthrough. The next clue would come from a forgotten cemetery in Central Asia. The hunt for the Black Death's origin led scientists to Central Asia, far from Europe's plague-ravaged cities. Historian Philip Slavin uncovered records from a Nestorian Christian cemetery at Karajigach, near Lake Issyk-Kul in modern Kyrgyzstan. Tombstones revealed a sudden spike in deaths in 1338 and 1339, years before the plague reached Europe. Some stones even listed pestilence as the cause, raising a tantalizing question. Was this the Black Death's beginning? To find out, scientists needed more than records. They needed DNA. Fortunately, skeletons from Karajigach had been excavated in the 1800s and stored in a Russian museum. Researchers, led by Johannes Kraus and Maria Spiro, obtained permission to sample teeth from 7 individuals buried during the deadly years. The samples were taken to a specialized lab where every precaution was taken to avoid contamination. The goal: find traces of the Black Death bacteria in these ancient remains. It was a long shot. Centuries had passed, and DNA degrades over time. But the stakes were high. This could pinpoint the pandemic's true origin. The world of science waited for answers from a forgotten cemetery. If the DNA matched, it would rewrite the story of the Black Death. The next step would reveal if Karajigach was ground zero for history's deadliest plague. The results would astonish the world. In the lab, scientists drilled into the ancient teeth from Karajigach, searching for the DNA of Yersinia pestis, the Black Death bacterium. Against the odds, they found it, clear traces of the deadly microbe in 3 of the 7 individuals. This was the smoking gun, direct genetic evidence that the plague struck Karajigach in 1338. The tombstone's pestilence was indeed the Black Death. But the discovery didn't stop there. Scientists reconstructed the entire genome of this ancient strain, comparing it to other plague samples from history and today. The Karajigach strain turned out to be the direct ancestor of the Black Death that ravaged Europe. Even more, it was the ancestor of most Yersinia pestis strains still found worldwide. This meant Karajigach wasn't just an outbreak, it was the outbreak. The pandemic's big bang started here, setting off a chain reaction across continents. The genetic fingerprint linked a forgotten cemetery to a global catastrophe. For the first time, science had traced the Black Death's roots to a single place and moment. The mystery of the plague's origin was finally solved. The story of the Black Death had a beginning, and now we knew where it was. The next challenge, tracing how it spread across the world. The discovery at Kara Jigach was the missing piece of a centuries-old puzzle. Located on the Silk Road, Kara Jigach was a crossroads for merchants and travelers. The plague likely jumped from local rodents to humans in 1338, then hitched a ride west along trade routes. Merchants carrying infected fleas or rats unknowingly spread the disease from Central Asia to the Black Sea. Historical records describe the siege of Kaffa in 1346, where plague-infected bodies were catapulted over city walls. From Kaffa, Italian ships carried the disease to Sicily in 1347, igniting the Black Death in Europe. Genetic evidence confirmed the route historians had long suspected. The Kara Jigach strain sits at the base of the plague's family tree, splitting into branches that spread across continents. This great divergence created the four major lineages of plague still found today. A single outbreak in a mountain community shaped centuries of human history. The Black Death's journey was mapped at last, from a remote graveyard to the heart of Europe. The story of the pandemic was no longer a mystery. Science had connected the dots across time and space. Ancient DNA has rewritten the history of the Black Death. For centuries its origin was debated, China, Russia, or somewhere else. The Kara Jigach discovery provided the hard evidence historians needed. Now we can pinpoint the pandemic's source and understand how a local event became a global catastrophe. The story shows how pandemics can start with a single spillover from animals to humans. It highlights the importance of the environment and human-animal interactions in the rise of new diseases. Solving this mystery required teamwork, historians, archaeologists, and geneticists working together. Each field brought a crucial piece to the puzzle. This collaborative approach is the future of understanding our past and preparing for what's next. The people buried at Kara Jigach are no longer forgotten. They are the first known victims of the Black Death. Their story, once lost, now connects us to a pivotal moment in world history. By uncovering their fate, we honor their memory and learn from their tragedy. The Black Death's true story is finally told, thanks to science and collaboration. And its lessons are more relevant than ever. Why does finding the Black Death's origin matter today? Because history is a warning. The Black Death spread rapidly in a world connected by trade, just as diseases do now in our globalized age. Studying ancient plague DNA helps scientists understand how pathogens evolve and adapt. This knowledge is vital for tracking and fighting modern diseases. The story of Kara Jigach underscores the One Health principle. Human, animal, and environmental health are deeply linked. Many pandemics, from the Black Death to COVID-19, began with germs jumping from animals to people. Monitoring wildlife and protecting habitats is crucial for preventing future outbreaks. Science replaces fear with knowledge. Today we can identify microbes, sequence their DNA, and fight back with medicine and vaccines. The triumph at Kara Jigach shows that even ancient mysteries can be solved. By learning from the past, we can build a safer, healthier future. The Black Death's story is not just about loss, it's about discovery, resilience, and hope. Our greatest defense is understanding. The lessons of history are our best guide for what comes next.